The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
We'll find out when I take a look at Power Rangers Universe Edge of Darkness. It's unlimited. It's unlimited, not universe. Whew! Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another comically long review. Last time, I ended yet another long drought in this series by wrapping up the Trials of Ultraman. This time, I'll be finishing off 2 more droughts. Last September, the last Power Rangers-related comic I reviewed was Power Rangers number 7. This time, I'll be getting back to Power Rangers in general, and Power Rangers in particular. Let's see how the Omega Rangers' efforts against the Imperials are going by taking a look at Power Rangers, issues number 8, 9, and 10.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon.
Right you. What he said was, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos.
The main cover for issue number 8 is artistic and striking. The 3 Omegazords being grasped at by a far larger Imperial. The only thing I don't like about this image are the Zords themselves. Have I mentioned just how strongly I dislike the Omegazords? What am I looking at here? Seriously, maybe again due to the incredibly abstract designs of the Omegazords, this image makes no real sense. It's the 3 Zords seemingly kneeling in a forest. There are 2 suns and some birds. The sky's orange, that's pretty. The blank cover is purple. Hey, we're branching out a bit color-wise. The last cover seems to have some heavy implications. It seems to be Zordon in his Guardian armor, along the lines of other partial morph hologram type series. So, the Boom Power Rangers comics don't include the last time page, and they kind of needed to in this case, if it even would have helped. Drakken asks G if Zack brought any snacks, since seeing a world he hates get destroyed gives him the munchies.
What are you talking about?
So I went back to issue number 7, and here's a quick little recap. The Rangers learned that the Imperials were attacking Hartunia, themselves a world of conquerors and slavers. They were taken to the king's palace, ordered to be executed, but rescued by the queen, who begged them to save Hartunia. G says he's not sharing Zack's snacks with Drakken, but thought he'd appreciate Hartunia's subjugating ways. And he does, but says they take the easy way. Most of the worlds they conquer haven't even figured out fire yet. There's no challenge. They aren't conquerors, they're scavengers. A blue and orange, complementary colors, beautiful Imperial descends from space onto Hartunia. The king says that his glory has arrived, while his wife calls him a fool. She's still talking to the Rangers. She explains that he's a spineless, egotistical, vindictive fool, and the nobles chose her to marry him in the hopes that she could change him. Oh, never go into a marriage hoping that you can change somebody like that. The Rangers ask if she could just start a revolution.
Do you want a revolution? Do you want a revolution?
But she says she tried. In classic Stockholm Syndrome glory, the very people he takes advantage of came to his defense. She has very few allies now, and must maintain a friendly to the king image to throw off suspicion that she was behind the revolt. Why?
Well, to that I have to give my standard answer, why not?
We see the people that she is rescuing. Young Hartunians, families with kids, a few older ones, including this one with the nice pipe.
Let's proceed without the pipe.
If you say so, Captain. I honestly don't understand exactly what the Queen says here. I am well aware of the pain my world has inflicted on the universe, but we are not the actions of one emperor. Screw it, I'm using it again.
What are you talking about?
Anyway, she says these are good people that deserve a chance to live. Her husband arrogantly thinks that they can beat the Imperials. Personal glory for him. But she knows. Hartunia has seen its last sunrise. She gets on her knees and begs the Rangers to do what she couldn't. Save her people. Inhabitants of Hartunia, rejoice, for your world is about to be renewed. This is a cleansing, a new beginning, and with the dawn, all of your many transgressions will be washed away. Always good when a villain is talking about a cleansing, huh? We see what a brave and loyal king this guy is as he tells his soldiers to drown this thing in their blood, suffocate it with their last breath. Basically, die for him. The Imperial isn't totally heartless here. If the Hartunians want to pass into nothingness after losing a battle, it can arrange that, summoning a ton of toothy shadow demons. The two sides prepare to clash as the Imperial says this is pointless, just another failed world alone in the dark. That's the thing, though.
Not so fast!
Midget.
They are not alone. Jason and Trini show up in their Omegazords, ready to fight. Trini tells G that Zack stayed with the refugees. They can't beam them up due to the heavy metals in the castle walls. Jason tells them to land as close as they can. They figured this would be true, so they are leaving the castle to meet the ship. Trini attacks by throwing her Zord's fist, but the Imperial dodges. I know who you are, Omega Rangers. You are the insect that believes it can stop the storm with the flap of its wings. Okay, I'm sorry.
That was totally wicked!
The Imperial tries to tell them that these people are not worth their lives, but again, he's understanding. If this is how they want to die, sure, why not? With the refugees, Zack is being a little judgy about the Queen seeming to want to run away, but she tells him to back off. She knows she is just as guilty as her husband because she failed. She felt powerless to change her world and always hoped she had more time. But she doesn't even have time to finish that thought as the Royal Guards catch up, ordering her captured and everyone else killed. By the way, ever heard anyone say that these Power Rangers comics are kid fair? Get behind me, Empress! Please, I'm married to a narcissistic maniac. The first thing I learned was how to defend myself. Implications of domestic violence. You know, for kids! Back to the Zords, the battle does not go well. They are getting thrown around as the Imperial says that they've seen many worlds and many gods on those worlds. But the only real god is time.
They say time is the fire in which we burn.
The Hartunians had centuries, but only became a parasite, a race that creates nothing and consumes everything. My master has finally judged you. And as time's disciple, I am here to reset the clock. With no more opposition, at least for the moment, the Imperial faces the king. They tell the king there was a race on the planet before them. They also thought they'd live forever, and now they aren't even remembered. The Hartunians are the harvest, and the Imperial has come to reap, replenishing the soil so something else can grow there. Maybe something better. With that, it smashes the tower that presumably the king was standing inside. Meanwhile, Zack and the Queen, the Empress, She calls the king the emperor because, as I explained last time, for whatever reason they are using those terms interchangeably, are still fighting because even with the castle getting torn up, the guards haven't stopped. The head guard, Hilvax, says they don't choose when to obey the Quaimper'S, and Zack knocks him out to shut him up. But then he starts talking about the Titanic, a reference that even he admits they're not going to get. And the Quaimper'S whacks another soldier, asking if humans always babble when fighting. Yes. She tells him to go, to get her people off of the planet while she sacrifices herself. Well, she says that these guards can't harm her, but she clearly wasn't planning to leave. Zack says he owes her for saving his life, and these people are going to need their Quaimper'S. She says they have to go now, and weakly promises, probably lying, that she'll be right behind them. He reluctantly agrees, but tells her where the ship is, and that they will wait as long as they can. The Imperial really drives home the moral dilemma here, as they drive their fist past the Red Omegazord's face. They may save a few million Hartunians, but what would be stopping them from ravaging another world? And another. And another. Saving these millions may cost the lives of billions. Can they not see the danger that is right in front of them? Jason says he was about to ask the Imperial that exact same question. Trini's been getting an attack ready, and teams with Jason Zord for the Omega Energy Vortex. The Rangers hope it worked because that took everything their Zords had. But the smoke clears, and the Imperial is still standing, if looking slightly crispier. I haven't felt that kind of pain in a millennia. Allow me to return the favor.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Drakken and Zack rush the refugees on board. Zack asks G for a time check, and it's not good. The same massive radiation buildup that wiped out Gorvinos 3 is building now. Zack says they are not leaving without the Quaimper'S, and Drakken teases that Zack's in love. G says they have to go now or they cannot get a safe distance away. He says he doesn't care, but G says that she wanted him to save her people, not to die trying to save her. G asks again, and he agrees to go. The ship takes off, but as Zack closes the door, he sees the Quaimper'S staggering nearby. He allows the door to close. Drakken notices and asks Zack about it, but he denies seeing anyone. G flies the Spectrum away, telling Jason and Trini they have to get clear too. Trini tells Jason they have to go, and he says that he knows, but clearly he's frustrated at failing to defeat an Imperial yet again. The Imperial delivers a dark taunt as they leave. One day, Earth will be the next planet to face renewal.
Oh my god!
The soldiers see what is, for all intents and purposes, a planet-destroying nuke go off, and face their fate in different ways. The soldiers seem to stand and quietly accept their fate. The Quaimper'S says that no, he cannot end like this, though I love this frame of him staring at the coming destruction and seeing the Rangers escape. The Quaimper'S uses her last moment to ask for forgiveness. The Rangers tell the refugees that they will reach safe haven in a few hours, where they will have all that they need. One asks to speak with the Quaimper'S, but the Rangers explain that she died saving them. They are aghast and don't know what to do. They've never lived while not serving royalty. Zack explains that she sacrificed herself for them and asks the same question back. What will they do? Another Hartunian says they will honor her with a new start. Later, Zack is obviously upset, mockingly praising them for saving a whole 37 people. Jason points out that they saved a species from extinction, though if the Hartunians were world conquerors, shouldn't there be at least a few of them on several other planets. Zack says, oh, wow, maybe next time they can save a few dozen. Zack, 37 is a few dozen, 3 dozen plus 1. Of course, what he's really upset about is the Quaimper'S death. Drakken says this is why he wanted to run, but since they're not going to, here's a little tip. They are able to track the Imperials. Maybe they should go and find the one thing that knows how to kill them. On Hartunia, a voice asks the Imperial if it is done. Let's be clear here, the Imperial said it served the god of time itself, but it does have an actual literal master. They ask about the Omega Rangers, and they explain how they were defeated again. The voice says they will be dealt with when the task is done, and tells the Imperial to unite with the others and wait for their command. Because everything is going according to Zardas's plan. He's also carrying an interesting crystal. Yikes! What an issue! Did you notice how I quoted lines from the issue a good bit more than I usually do? That's just because it was so quotable. This was so good. Not just the action paced perfectly through it, but this moral debate about saving a terrible race, because in the end, a race can't be wholly terrible or wholly good. And then the B plot with Zack and the Quaimper'S and all the guilt and sacrifice and everything there, just fantastic. Power Rangers issue number 8 gets a 5 out of 5. The main cover of issue 10 portends something ominous. Perhaps a helmetless Jason has Drakken near the top of the command cube, but is he saving him or dangling him off of it? I will say that it doesn't really matter right now, as this scene does not take place in this comic. Nice alternate cover of the Omega Rangers in front of the cube. Kinda looks like an album cover. This is beautiful. The Omegas, Jason and Zack with weapons drawn, Trini in front, almost like this is a selfie. Now this is just adorable. Trini in a chibi-ish art style, kind of yearbook photos behind her, including MMPR yellow. I will say the pose is a little suggestive, more how she's dressed, really. I'm no harumphing prude, to quote Yahtzee of Zero Punctuation, but it is a little cheesecakey to say the least. For the sake of time, the first page is Zack talking to the new refugees on Safe Haven as we see various scenic locations. He's giving them a tour of the place, messing up here and there because Archon, aka Birdman, usually greets them. Weird that he's MIA here. One of them offers to add to the planet's uniqueness with something from their world, seeds to grow plants from Hartunia. He regrets not being able to save more from their world, but Zack reminds the Regent that they saved the most important thing: people. Someone goes looking for Archon and finds him in a secluded room. They tell Archon the Hartunians have arrived, and he says he knows, holding a Final Fantasy sword and standing in front of a suit of armor. Over to Trini. She's engaged in an interesting exercise coached by Drakken. She is morphing and punching the statue of the dead blue emissary. Why?
Well, to that I have to give my standard answer: why not?
Drakken says she is searching for the cosmos, trying to find the source of her power at the moment of her transformation. What that actually means is this. Last issue, Drakken said they should find the one who knows how to kill an Imperial. Apparently, that is the Yellow Emissary, the last one still alive. Trini doesn't understand, so a frustrated Drakken tries to explain. The Imperials, the Emissaries, the Masters, the Rangers, it's all Morphin Grid stuff. The grid is like a big spider web that connects it all. As a Yellow Ranger, Trini has a connection to the Yellow Emissary. Every time she morphs, the Emissary is aware. They aren't answering, but Drakken says that's because Trini isn't tugging on the web hard enough. The red Oh, I guess that's the red emissary's body, but wasn't the blue emissary's body up there? Anyway, emissary's body will act as an antenna, and Safe Haven will boost the signal because, sure, why not? It can do that. But in the moment she transforms, she has to search and find the emissary. Okay, so we've seen this little girl off and on here on Safe Haven, but danged if I can ever remember her name. Had to look it up again. It's Rishka. She's with Yale looking for jellyflies. They find some sleeping on a branch, and Yale helps her upwards, but she can't quite reach and falls. She has a little breakdown saying her friends will make fun of her and she hates it there. She wants to go home, but home kind of exploded, so that's not happening. Yale sees how sad she is, scoops her up, and starts running to make her feel better. And it works. Zack guides some Hartunians, badly, when a child approaches and asks if they can be friends with G. Zack says G is sleeping right now, but would probably be fine with that. Then the Hartunians that Zack tried to guide come running back, screaming for help. The danger is Birdman. Archon has suited up in the armor and declares his intent to personally get vengeance for all of his species, the Circeans, that were killed by the Hartunians. Zack asks Archon to calm down. He says he's not gonna and charges, and Zack morphs. Zack is obviously just trying to contain Archon, who says that the Hartunians conquered his world, imprisoned his kids, and sent him to labor mines to die. The Circeans did manage to eventually overthrow the Hartunians, but it was generations later. Zack says that he's sorry, he didn't know, hence just bringing the Hartunians to Safe Haven with no warning, but killing these ones won't bring the ones that he loved back. Archon says he has sworn a blood oath that they will pay, and by the way, his race isn't the only one the Hartunians have hurt. Zack sees a mob of multiple other aliens attacking. Downstairs, Drakken is near the vault talking to Saba about it. For those unfamiliar, Drakken killed his universe's Saba and carries around the detached head of the talking tiger saber, talking to it like it's still alive. Drakken is apparently empathic, able to feel the hate, anger, contempt, and just negative energy of the contained creatures inside.
Poor unfortunate souls.
He sees it as an opportunity. What would they each give him for a chance at freedom? Or revenge? He hears one voice in particular calling out so clearly, and come on, he's obviously talking about Kaya. Jason walks up. It's unclear how much he might have heard. Drakken plays it cool, saying he was just admiring the vault's craftsmanship. He then changes the subject, a master manipulator, asking Jason if when all of this is over, he might consider letting Drakken go. Jason laughs that off, of course, and Drakken says he feels like he's earned his freedom. Jason says he's not even close, and he's right, and that when this is done, they are taking him straight back to Zordon. I guess he figures that after they deal with the Imperials, Zordon will come around? Drakken makes an interesting proposal. Let him fight for his freedom. He'll die before going into one of those jars, which, to be fair...
To be fair.
is their method of dealing with dangerous people, not Zordon's. Except for Rita, I guess. Anyway, he appeals to the fighter in Jason's nature. He just likes hurting people, and being a hero lets him not feel bad about it, which Drakken says is actually smart. Jason sarcastically dismisses that, but Drakken gets to the point. He knows Jason really wants to beat him into the dirt, so here's a way to do that and keep a clean conscience. If he wins, he got to beat Drakken up, and Drakken will say that he's the one that started the fight. But if Drakken wins, he goes free, and Jason tells the others that he escaped. Drakken jabs his pride, saying that Jason should do this if he thinks he can win, even if his Jason couldn't. But you might remember I said that the cover doesn't apply to this issue, and they are interrupted by Zack calling about Archon. Zack fights off the mob, whose names, by the way, are Evish, Verntil, and Howard.
And Peggy.
Archon approaches a father and son, saying this is for every child they stole. Is he planning on killing that kid? But Jason teleports in and prevents that. Zack begs Archon to stop. He's the kind, gentle man that built Safe Haven. But he insists he's trying to protect it. They ruined his life, and an example must be made. Zack removes his helmet. Side note, but while the energy removal thing is cool, I really kind of miss the actually physically removing the helmet. It's just a little more dramatic. Anyway, he says if Archon needs blood, take his. Archon tries to say no, their sins are not his sins. But Zack says he knows what the Hartoonians have done. But these people have not come here to conquer. Like Archon, they lost everything. Killing them won't fix anything. If death is the only thing that will make things right for Archon, Zack offers his life in exchange, as long as it stops the fighting. Archon says that Kestrel law demands blood to be spilled in the name of the fallen. He raises his sword and grazes Zack's cheek. Blood has been spilled. The blood oath is satisfied. Archon tells the Hartoonians they now share in the grief they caused for so many others. Zack's blood may protect them here, but they are not suddenly sinless now. Trini is still working on contacting the emissary, pushing her body to the limit. Ji tries to tell her to stop, but she insists on continuing, saying she will make them hear her. And indeed she does, suddenly brought before them. And you can tell the mood that they're in because they're half ninja steel, and that's just not good. Jason and Zack teleport in, seeing Trini floating in the air. She suddenly stops, demorphing. Jason asks if she's okay. An exhausted Trini says she found the emissary, but there's a problem. They said something. They told me, do not seek me out, for you bring with you nothing but death. Meanwhile, Yale's been busy getting that branch of jellyflies for Rishka, but she is with her friends, Siwa and the other one. He approaches smiling, but the other two kids are not into Yale, telling the big dumb cat to leave and even throwing a rock at him. They figure out Yale is there to see Rishka and tell her to get rid of him or to get lost. She has so few friends she feels she can't risk losing them, throwing a rock and hitting Yale on the shoulder. He leaves, and symbolically he drops the stick and the jellyflies fly away. He wanders into the woods and stands on a log near the remains of the blue emissary. This issue feels a bit more like setup, kicking off a brand new set of stories. Tensions with the Hartoonian refugees, Trini seeking out the yellow emissary, a potential fight between Jason and Drakken, and even the relationship between Rishka and Yale. It's all good stuff. Not a lot of action to speak of, but good plot. Power Rangers number 9 gets a 4 out of 5. Ready for a story about a kitty cat? Issue 10's main cover features Yale and the living blue emissary. This cover is a little more artistic and showcases Yale, Rishka, and her two friends. This cover is very interesting. That looks like Zordon, but the half-formed armor over the face, is that Lord Zed? His name does start with a Z. And we have the lovely Yellow Ranger Trini, beautiful artwork, helmet sort of half-formed. We start in a jar. Seriously, we hear people talking about letting it out, that it almost ate the Rangers by itself, it's gonna be in a mood, but the person letting Yale out of the jar is apologetic, since she's the one that put it in one. Yes, it's Kaya and the Anointed, and right off the bat, this moment showcases the changed art style because they look a good bit different. I mean, the characters look right, it's just the lining is heavier. Kaya seems a little more stylized too. Anyway, she's making her pitch to Yale to join them, respecting its intelligence as an equal. Yale sniffs her hand and jerks away, hissing. Cats can tell, man. Garrison Box wants to tear the cat up, but Kaya stops him. She didn't need Yale. She's not mad, just disappointed. Back to present day. Yale wanders around the town, I guess, quickly flopping down for a nap. Someone is knitting something nearby, and we see on the next page that they gave it to Yale. Meanwhile, someone is narrating. Yale can rest and seems lighthearted, but they keep getting drawn to them. Archon gives Kitty some milk, and then we flash back through Yale's life. They were the runt of their litter, but the mama kitty took extra care of them for that, filling them with love, kinship, and peace. Lovely qualities, but not what this voice needs. Back with the kids, they're walking through the jungle, whining about the conditions. Rishka asks how much longer until they get to the Toronto Ball clearing, but the lead kid says, "Oh yeah, I was lying."
I was, lying.
Yeah, I was, lying.
They're going somewhere far cooler. According to ancient legend, and...
My dad told me! My dad!
There's a secret temple. The temple is hidden and has legends about random objects that end up inside. Those objects must be found by children clad in different... Oh, sorry. Got my kids' franchises mixed up there.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
So yeah, there's a temple where the Morphin Masters train. They vanished one day, but must have left a lot of cool stuff behind. Hey, there are mysterious objects in that temple.
Set the clock for 3 minutes.
Rishka is scared and wants to leave, but they say they can buy new homes with the Morphin jewels they can find there. She says there are dangerous things in the jungle, but the lead kid insists they are the most dangerous thing out there. Far more dangerous than these floating eyes. Yale's family, and other cats I guess, are being used as snow cats pulling a sled. Their litter mates and they have been stuffed in a bag. Since they were the small runt, they were able to slip out, but not strong enough to open the bag and free the others. The sled hits a bump and Yale is tossed off, never seeing their family again. And you blamed yourself.
Oh, don't cry, are you?
As Yale plays in some water, they seem to hear a voice and look up, as the narration says they've been watching their story for some time. In the flashback, we see Yale encounter a young alien boy who feeds them. They vowed that day to get stronger and protect that boy, but now more innocents need protecting. The kids are clearly lost, but when Rishka says they should head home, Tu-Vel, that's the lead kid's name, fires back asking if she even has a home, shocking the third kid, Siwa. Tu-Vel says they are her home now, and then lays the guilt trip on. It is sad that she lost her home, but he was happy when she came back to Safe Haven. If they can find the treasure, they can stay together forever. So does she want to be a part of this team? That's interrupted by a sound nearby, but it's probably nothing. I mean, it could be a gigantic hideous snake monster, except with legs, but it could be nothing. Whomever this narrator is, they were able to communicate to Yale about the kids, and they instantly spring to action. They don't care that the kids hurt them before, just that they need to help people that can't help themselves. We see in a flashback the moment Yale became an empowered. Chasing a ball, the lightning hit them, and they caused a crater all around, causing the young boy's parents to send them away. The kids run away from this seriously hideous creature.
Fire!
But Siwa trips. Rishka goes back to help him, but they seem doomed until Yale slams in. The narration says it's not unlike the last time. After the parents sent Yale away, the boy went to find them. But he got lost, and Yale went and found him, able to protect him with a heat circle. They went to the abandoned house, and that's where the Omega Rangers found them. The two beasts fight, and we see that Yale can use their hands with actual prehensile grip, flinging the creature around. The creature is dazed and runs away. Rishka asks what they're going to say about Siwa's leg, and Tu-Vel says they'll blame Yale, making up the story about saving Siwa from Yale. But Rishka refuses, saying this was all Tu-Vel's fault. He wants to protect them, he says, but she says he wants to control them. And if that's what having a home requires, she's fine without one. Tu-Vel walks away, but Siwa stays with Rishka and Yale. Siwa stays friends with her, saying he'll see her later. She apologizes to Yale and now has become someone that is helping and being helped by Yale, just like that young boy from before. At, I'm guessing, sunset, we see Yale asleep. Has nobody given Yale a home? I'd swear Yale would sleep in the command cube. Anyway, the voice calls to them, leading them, well, right to the command cube. The time has come once again to complete the morphing grid circle, to show you the Alpha and the Omega. Yale finds a small chest, which opens itself, spooking them. The voice says they were wrong about Kaya. Yale looks in the chest and sees the blue Omega Morpher. The voice says Yale is the missing piece of the puzzle as their eyes turn blue. And now that the Morpher is floating over to Yale, perhaps this voice can finally find rest. Whoa, does not do it justice. Is what you think is happening actually happening? Well, first of all, it happened months ago, so most of you already know the answer to that question. But number two, yes, it is. However, it didn't happen in this issue, so we're going to talk about what happened in this issue. This really struck me as one of those every fifth issues that we got in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers line, where they'd focus on a character, flash back, and fill in some of the backstory. And hey, this is issue number 10, so even the numbering fits. An issue about Yale is cute enough as it is. Yale is an adorable, fun kitty, and it was fun learning more about them. But to end it on that note, just wow! Overall, this was a cute, fun little story, and I liked it just fine. Issue number 10 gets a 4 out of 5. Next time on a comically long review, I have to review just one Power Rangers comic, but it is double length, so there's that. Now, we all know that Jacob is the Phantom Ranger, but what has Database been up to over in the comics world? We'll find out when I take a look at Power Rangers Unlimited: Edge of Darkness. That is going to do it for another comically long review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of these issues, as well as my review of them, down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you'd like a way to support the channel financially that's not Patreon or Coffee, you can purchase hats, mugs, t-shirts. Actually, I don't think I have any hats, but t-shirts, mugs, socks, masks. I think I said that. Anything with this Orange Ranger logo on it that your little heart desires that is on that store, you can purchase. This is getting really kind of, so I'm going to wrap this up. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. This is a cleansing, a new beginning, and with... God dang it! That chumming... Let's be clear here. The Imperial said it served... But is he saving him? Or dangling... Archon has suited up in the armor and declares his intent to impersonally get revenge for doing this take again. Zack asked Archon to calm down, says he did... He then changes the subject, a master manipulator. I would think that Yale would sleep at the command cube. So we're going to talk about what happened in this issue. I just don't know what the line is. And I really liked that, learning more about them and doing this take again. Now, we all know that Jacob is the data... Oh my gosh. As well as my review of them down in the comments below. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing.